Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. The newest trend that is sweeping all of college football that I didn't know was a trend until Saturday. Yeah. It's losing at home, watching your rivals plant their flag on your field, and starting a freaking brawl. Okay, so listen, we saw it all throughout the day on Saturday. It obviously started at Michigan, Ohio State in Columbus. Producer Matt, you can just start popping up the tweets and the pictures and the videos and whatever else. But like, it was an epidemic over the course of college football on Saturday. So it started at Michigan, Ohio State. As you can see there, after Florida and Florida State played, Florida went ahead and planted their flag. Florida State was not happy about it. Oh, by the way, UNC does not like when NC State plants their flag at the game in Chapel Hill. And so you can see it there. I have so many different thoughts, and let's just dive into this. By the way, as we were coming on air, the Big Ten did reprimand and fine Michigan and Ohio State for their flag planting situation, but it was crazy, right? Because there was three or four situations where a team planted the flag, a brawl breaks out, and we don't even know what the heck is going on. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the Michigan Ohio State thing. One. We all saw all the videos and all the pictures of Ryan Day just basically standing there in disbelief. I actually, in some ways, felt bad for Ryan Day. I think he was in such disbelief about basically what had happened in that game. There is a brawl going on 10 feet away from him, and he has absolutely no idea what's going on. There's a video of him. You can see him kind of mouthing, what just happened or what's going on or whatever. So I kind of felt bad for him. By the way, Joel and Gus, I think, do an excellent job. This is not a terrible criticism of them, but I did think they overreacted a little bit. But when I see all of the all of the flag planting, I think I've already messed that up about 7 or 8 times throughout the show. When I see all the flag planting that went on in college football and the brawls that ensued after that, I had one thought. And I know it's going to be pretty unpopular. You know what the number one, because this became a thing, right? It became, how do we make sure this doesn't happen again? Well, there's actually a very easy way to make sure that a visiting team doesn't plant the flag at midfield on your field. I have a crazy idea. I don't know if it's going to even make total sense, but here's the solution to visiting teams planting the flag at midfield on your rival, after a big win. How about this? Crazy, I know. Don't freaking lose to them. How about that? How about like to me? And I tweeted this out. It's like my grand solution to rivalry week flag plantings is: don't get your butt kicked at home by your biggest rival. Okay, and so I tweeted it out on Saturday night. It was after the Florida State thing, which happened after Michigan Ohio State, which happened after North Carolina UNC, etc., or NC State UNC, etc. And what I basically said was pretty straightforward. I said, look, we have to have a new rule in college football. You are not allowed to complain about flags being planted at midfield if you get your butt kicked at home by your biggest rival. By the way, you know what the worst part about all this is? And it's a very obvious take, but it's the truth. The real obvious take, and that's the truth, is pretty straightforward, is that some of those teams showed more heart in trying to start a brawl with their rivals after a loss than they did at any point during the game, okay? I mean, think about Ohio State. Ohio State, listen, for 4 years, you've been getting your butt kicked by Michigan every single year. If you're a senior, this was the second time that Michigan has come into your place, kicked your butt, and beat you. By the way, at Ohio State specifically, remember, they had a bunch of guys that could have gone pro last year. They all came back basically because they were tired of losing to Michigan. They wanted to compete for a Big Ten championship. They want to win a national championship, all that good stuff. Denzel Burke, cornerback, Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau, Emeka Ibuka, all those guys came back for this one game to beat Michigan and to celebrate in front of their home fans. And what do? They got their butt kicked on the field. And then when Michigan planted their flag, what ended up happening? They started a fight. It's like, where was some of that fight during the game? By the way, you know what I noticed during the Ohio State-Michigan game, which we didn't even talk about? The two guys that seemed most fired up when good things happen, Quinshad Judkins, transfer from Ole Miss, and Jeremiah Smith, freshman wide receiver. Neither of them were there last year. And so you think about Ohio State, you get your butt kicked. Two guys that weren't even there seem to care more than anybody. And now after the game, you want to start a fight? Now, to the credit of Jack Sawyer, I did see the video of him kind of, being held back, saying they're not planting the flag on my effing field, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, Jack Sawyer, I know you had the biggest play for Ohio State in the game, but maybe some of your other teammates can step up. Maybe it's not Michigan's fault that you guys didn't come in ready to play. By the way, it's the same with Florida State. Like, the Florida State thing was hysterical to me. Florida State all of a sudden is all bent out of shape because Florida planted their flag at midfield in Doak Campbell Stadium. Florida State, which basically quit in week 2 of the season. We all watched week 1, or we watched week 0 against Georgia Tech in Dublin. Then you come home, you play Labor Day night against Boston College. And from there, you basically quit. You stopped trying. You finished 2-10. It was probably the worst season in the history of Florida State football. The entire coaching staff has been fired. And now this is where you draw the line. This is where it's too much. Here's a crazy idea. How about you showed some of that heart against Miami? You could have beat them because Miami kind of was a little bit overrated this year. Maybe you could have beaten Clemson if you showed some of that heart. Maybe you could have literally beaten anyone other than Cal and Charleston Southern if you actually showed up ready to play and ready to compete and ready to fight the way that you did when that flag planting happened. By the way, these are some of the teams that Florida State has lost to this year. They lost to Duke. They lost to UNC, which just fired their coach. They lost to Boston College. They lost to Memphis. Now, they lost to some good teams. SMU and Clemson are playing for the ACC title. Miami is obviously finished 10-2. Notre Dame is going to the college football playoff. But here's an idea, Florida State. How about you just fight on the field and you show up ready to play? Then you don't have to worry about people planting your flags. So that's Torres' big take on flag planting. That's my big theory. If you don't want the opposing fan, if you don't want rivals to do it, just how about you beat them and then you don't got to worry about it.